because it's just a repeat of example number 7. Those are what we call composite functions. Anyways, example number 6, it says, it is known that photosynthesis is a circadian process exhibited by some plants. Assuming, I said that wrong. I was thinking of the little insects. It's circular is what that fancy word means. Assuming that a normal cycle takes 24 hours. The following is a typical graph of photosynthesis for a given plant. So here's the photosynthesis that is measured in terms of carbon assimilation of units, of which the micromoles of carbon per square meter per second find its equation. So the reason that we use cosine and sine is there's this lot of, we would call it as a harmonic motion, or circular, or sometimes it's referred to as sinusogenous. They all mean it looks like a wave, okay? All those fancy words mean that there's a pattern that repeats. It's periodic behavior is another term that they would use. So what we need to do is figure out the graph of this. So I know, just looking at this, that if I had to pick a function that's similar to this, I know that sine starts at the origin and is sinusogenous and kind of does one of these things, right? So that's like y equals sine of x, right? So then what I need to do is come up here and kind of dissect this. So right here, the middle of this thing is 8. You know what that tells me? That k equals 8. And then it peaks at 10, and the value is at 6. You know what that tells me? That the amplitude is 2. Now I got to work a little bit to figure out what the period is. So if I go from here to here, I know that the period is, oof, boy, that's tough. If you were to guess, wouldn't you say 24 hours? It says that a normal cycle is 24 hours. In other words, I was going to look at this thing and I said, it's not quite 25. Then I reread it and I said, oh, it's 24. So the period is actually equal to 24. We're going to work backwards to find b. Okay? And I think once I get b, I could write the equation in the form y equals k plus or minus capital A sine of b x. Now, there's a c over b thing which would do the shift, but I don't think we need to shift this equation because sine starts at the origin. This one kind of starts where x equals 0, so I think it'll work out. So let's find b real quick. Well, the period is equal to 2 pi over b, and we know that that's equal to 24. So I'm going to draw a little line here because we're going to do some math here. So then 24 is equal to 2 pi over b. I'm going to have to multiply both sides by b to get the b out of the denominator here. So I've got 24b equals 2 pi. Divide both sides by 24. And I get b is equal to pi over 12, right? 2 over 24 reduces down to 1 over 12. And that's it. We're done. So I'm going to say y is equal to 8 plus 2 sine of pi over 12x. Now, if I'm not sure, what can I do? Graph it. So I'm going to go into Desmos, and I'm going to pull this off the screen so I can see my function as I type it in. So I'm going to say 8 plus 2 sine pi over 12 times x. I'm going to set my, so this is what I got so far. And then I'm going to set my grid over here to match this graph, which is 0 to 10 and 0 to 50. So on my x-axis, I'm going to go, I'll do -1 to 50. And then on my y-axis, I'll do -1 to 11. And maybe we'll make this 51, because it does go a little bit past that, right? And then I just hit enter. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see it. It's basically the same thing, right? Let's take a screenshot of that. Well, I need to do a better job.